Hello, hello, and welcome on this beautiful evening. Happy July, everybody. And this is our very first meeting, our first gathering in the Resilience series. Yes, it has become a reality. Thank you so much, everybody. You guys have been blowing my mind with your comments, with your messages, your likes, and just the general response I've been getting for the release of the new book, Resilience and the Art of Accepting Support. And I cannot even begin to express to you my gratitude for your fantastic support and how much you have been reaching out to me. Thank you so, so very much. So someone had mentioned to me, well, are you going to do a study group? And I'm like, you know what? That is a fantastic idea. And that's how a lot of stuff in my life happens, that someone else actually asks me and says, hey, how about this? Have you ever thought about that? And I'm like, you know what? If that's something that you guys want, then I'm happy to do that. So this is our very first official online study group today for the book Resilience and the Art of Accepting Support. And I'm not going to go along chronologically. I'm actually choosing to do it a little bit more by topic. And the thing that I noticed the most is where people responded is when I said, you know, the book is about resilience and the art of accepting support. And that's when people went, oh, wow, that's really extremely exciting. That it really interests me. And I know that it's hitting people, that this whole notion of resilience does not mean that we have to do it by ourselves. It's not about being stoic, being the strong one, having to do it ourselves. That actually part of resilience means to be able to accept support. And then I thought about it deeper when I was writing the book. What is the whole point of support and how does support show up for ourselves? And what I realized, and that's what I actually focused the theme on in this book, is there is 3 levels of support that we're focusing on. The first level is ourself. How do we treat ourselves? How does support live within ourselves? And actually, we had a lovely conversation a couple of days ago, my coach and myself. And what she told me is a strategy to talk to ourselves as sweetly and as kindly as we talk to little babies. And when you really think about it, how different that lives in us when we talk to a little child and we use a very specific voice tone, we use very sweet words, we address them very sweetly, we are incredibly encouraging. Imagine helping a toddler to master a new task. And I have that all the time with the 3 girls that I'm so intimately interwoven with, 8, 5, and a 3-year-old, that my voice tone immediately shifts. Oh, sweetie, come on, you can do it. Wow, you did a great job. You know, there's a lot of that laughter, a lot of that smiling. I make it very lighthearted. I'm really going out of my way to compliment them, to affirm them. And then how do we talk to ourselves? I can't believe you did that. You idiot. Da, 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 da. We have all these names that we're calling ourselves. We have these ways of talking to ourselves that are not really appropriate and not really encouraging. And so that is the first level that I thought is like, yeah, how does this live in a resilient person? How do they treat themselves and how do they talk to themselves deep down in how they are actually talking to themselves, in how they are treating themselves, and how is that different from someone who's not very resilient? So the second level then is support from the outside. Community. Are we able to ask for help? And I'm one of those people, I used the word stoic already. When someone would offer their help to me, most of the time, my normal response was, no, I got this. I don't need it. And then when I asked myself to go a little deeper, and why am I doing this? It was mostly about not imposing on others and not seeming weak or needy or that I couldn't do it. I needed to be strong and I need to be capable and able of doing it. And so this whole idea of being able to just kindly and gently asking for support and accepting support when it's being offered, that was a pretty freaking foreign concept for a long, long time, because it was all about that idea that I had to do it myself. There was a higher value placed on the idea of having to do it myself versus being able to actually reach out and say, you know what, thank you for wanting to help me make my life easier. Thank you for making it that I don't have to do it alone. Well, that has become quite an incredible resource, especially over this last year, to be able to pick up the phone, to talk to someone saying, you know what, I just need some help right now. I just need to run something by you. Can I just share my feelings with you right now? Or can we figure something out together here? And I've gotten so much better at that. And it really, really helps. So that's the second level of accepting support. And then the third level is our higher self, the divine, God, the universe, the quantum field, your angels, your guides, the ascended masters, anybody in the non-physical realm. And we all have our own spiritual belief systems. We all have our own guides that we go to. It's about prayer, it's about meditation, it's about going within, it's about reaching out to the higher consciousness, and then accepting support from that as well. So those are the three levels that this book is about, and I have chosen for this evening to go into level 1 of support, which is learn to support yourself from within. And there's a cute little quote, as within, so without, which is by Hermes Trismegistus, an ancient teacher. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little reading for you guys, okay? To include support in your blueprint, we are going to begin our exploration on the inside. We are starting from within because in order to get outside support, you need to feel inside support first. That makes sense, right? What we want to create on the outside, we need to have within us. And so by cultivating support within, it is easier to then reach out and get support from the outside. You cannot attract help from the outside if you're not supporting yourself. You cannot attract love out there if you're not feeling loving toward yourself. If you're not feeling lovable or you're not treating yourself lovingly. It is the same with support. You need to feel worthy of it. You need to support yourself from within before you can ever accept external support. How many of us are guilty of rejecting help when others offer it to us? How often do you tell others that you can do it yourself and that you don't need any help? Right? So I got a little quote there. It is not a sign of resilience to try to do it all by yourself. It is a sign of resilience to understand that support is natural. Personal exploration. So let's immediately go into the practical aspect of it, and that's what I love. You know that I'm always taking these theoretical aspects and putting them into practical application. And that's what this whole book is about, to really help you to get into that personal exploration. And I actually just exposed myself to some information about the coaching and the self-help industry, and that there is a huge trend right now to consume less content and actually put more emphasis on applying it. And I'm like, hallelujah, thank you. That's what I've been saying forever, that is the biggest mistake that people make, is just consume more and more and more and get more and more information, but then they don't do anything with it. I went to a workshop years ago and I met someone who went to the same workshop several months later, and I was making conversation with them and I referred to the workshop and said, man, wasn't that an awesome workshop, and I got this out of it and that out of it, and then we did a mastermind group about it, and then we did some self-study with it and all that, and the other person could barely remember even being there. And I went, wow, that was a time waste and a money and energy waste to not even remember that you were there and that you were actually doing all these exercises and getting all that information. And that to me is just the ultimate mistake that we can make, to not take the information we're getting and then doing anything with it. So take the information that you're learning here and apply it. And any other person that you're following, any other person that you're learning from, really use it. Don't just listen to a whole book and do it like, I got through it in 2 days. Well, what does that get for you? I have 2 books right now that I'm actually dissecting, where I'm going into the depths of it, and I'm doing every single exercise, and I'm writing about it every day. I'm studying it every day. I just finished 1 book, and it took me half a year. I read some other books in the meantime as well, and I'm doing some entertainment stuff and whatever, and this 1 book took me half a year to work through all 30 chapters and really meditating in each chapter, doing the writing down the information that I got out of it, and so on and so on. So please allow yourself to take it slowly and do the exercises. So here is one that I would like to offer to you. Become aware of your internal support. And you might breathe deeply, just go within, because this is actually a guided visualization, a guided exploration that you can just follow. If you'd like to take some notes right now, go ahead and do that, or you can watch the recording later and then dive deeper into it, okay? To start changing your relationship with support, I would like for you to imagine that you truly accept help from yourself. Visualize your resilient self. Do that internally right now, that you're visualizing your resilient self. Make a picture of it in front of you, in your mind's eye. How do you look? How do you sound? And how do you feel? Notice the level of self-support that comes to you naturally in that state, when you are in your resilient self. Go deep within and find the part that is in charge of support. You are made of all these different parts. That is the beauty that makes us all so unique. We all have all those different, unique parts. Our well-being is closely related to the interplay of all of our internal parts and how they interact with each other. So we are all made of millions, of billions of different parts. We are also made of psychological parts. Parts that are in charge of our well-being, parts that are in charge of humor, parts that have determination, the part that loves ice cream, the part that loves relationships, the part that wants to party, the part that is in charge of sleeping. So does it make sense to you? You have all these different parts, and your support part, your self-support part, is one of them. Within that system, you also have a part that is responsible for support. Locate that part within your body. Notice where you feel the most energy when you ask yourself where that part lives in you. So scan your body. You might also receive a clear verbal answer in your head. It's in my heart, it's in my third eye, it's in my belly. Or you see a picture of yourself and a certain part stands out. It like lights up. You can find the information in many different ways. The important thing is that you can feel it, that you're on the right track, that you're tapping into the correct answer for you. And we're all unique, so everybody does it a little differently. Some of us hear it, some of us feel it in our body, some of us get a sense of it, and some of us see pictures. The important thing is that your part is revealing itself to you. This part is the manager when it comes to everything that has to do with support. Get a visual of your part as a person. So visualize this part as a person and notice how you represent them to yourself. See the environment that they are in and listen to the conversations and background sounds that are going on. Make it compelling and enticing. See your part in charge of support as competent, effective, and intelligent. And at the same time, they're encouraging, compassionate, and loving. Just breathe that in. So see that part, see yourself, get a visual picture of it, and I can see myself a few feet in front of me, and she's looking back at me lovingly. She looks about the same that I do. She's standing upright, she's wearing a beautiful robe, and she's that part that I have conjured up in my mind as my part, that is my support part within. And I would like for you to do the same thing for yourself in whatever way that information comes to you right now, okay? You know that you're not doing it alone. And the number one person that is there for you is you, yourself. Please let all of that sink in right now. Allow it to settle within you as you get more information from your internal support team. Feel the presence of that part in your body right now. So I feel it in my heart, actually. I keep putting my hands right here over my chakra, and I feel that energy in my heart. It's a nice warm feeling. Where do you feel yours? Scan your body, and you might sense the part internally, or you might see it in your mind's eye. It could be a voice that is giving you the information. Whatever you're doing is right for you. That's what matters. There is no right or wrong way. There's only your way, okay? Let's connect with that part. Acknowledge and welcome it. Send energy, love, and gratitude to the part. Welcoming it, sending it love, acknowledgement, and gratitude. Gently touch the area where you feel the energy. Honor your part. Show it your appreciation. Let it know that you understand it is working hard for you. Be sweet with yourself as you express your sincere gratitude. Breathe together with your part, even hug it in your mind. Sit together, just enjoy each other's company. So let's do that for a moment. Get a picture of that part of yourself. Hear its voice. Welcome it. You might even bow to it. And just be with it. Enjoy its presence, knowing that you have that part within you. This is part of who you are. Express your gratitude to that part. Make sure that it feels really welcome and acknowledged. And breathe that in. Just be present with that. Let's anchor that with a few nice deep breaths and touch that part on your body. Excellent. Very well. And then we continue. Have a sincere conversation with yourself. Ask questions, share and receive information, elicit feedback, make comments, engage in discussions. Whatever it is you need to do to get in touch with your internal support team, be deliberate and clear in your communication. Find out what makes their work exciting and worthwhile. Show your sincere interest in them and what they have to say. Be welcoming and loving. Express your appreciation to the part for supporting you. Find out how you can enhance your relationship. Allow the part to speak freely, accept their message, and do your best to understand the deeper meaning of their communication. So let's do that together right now. I invite you to just have a dialogue with that part. Hello, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being my support part. I really appreciate you. Thank you for always having watched out for me. Oh my goodness. And I'm sorry that I kind of ignored you all these years, that I thought I had to do it myself. And, you know, I was just like toughing it out and plowing through life and not really allowing myself to be supported, not even from myself, and being harsh to myself. So go to that place as well. If you were being harsh, how do you treat yourself? Do you treat yourself lovingly and kindly, or are you more of the rough type? Gotta tough it out. A little mean to yourself, calling yourself names perhaps when you make mistakes. How do you treat yourself when you do something that doesn't work for you? Do you go in with that sing-songy voice of like, oh my goodness, I'm learning a lesson right now. Wow, that's a great lesson. I'm not going to do that again. Gee, I wonder why I did that. Versus, I can't believe you did this. Why do you always do that? You know, just this roughness that we might have with ourselves. So like, really go there and apologize if you need to. Ask it what it needs from you. Ask it how it would like to be treated by you. My part wants to be treated lovingly, absolutely. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants to know that it's there, that it has value and purpose. And that I really appreciate it being here for me. And then we both can move mountains. I know that. I've done it many times. That there were things showing up in my life, fantastic goals and dreams that I had, as well as hardship. And by allowing myself to be kind and loving to myself and asking for help from my parts, that then ultimately together we prevailed. And I would like for you to think about moments in your own life as well, where that worked for you. And you were dealing with circumstances that really needed you to buckle down and get your resources together to be able to make it through that situation, right? And then how you do it? How did you do it? That was you supporting yourself internally by affirming yourself, by saying things to yourself. Come on, you can do it. I trust in you. You have the resources. You've done it before. You can do it again. Those kind of things, right? Yeah. Okay. So have an open dialogue with that part. And that would be my greatest encouragement for you for those next couple of weeks, that you really start cultivating that relationship with yourself, and specifically that part. And if you just came in, you can represent that part visually, you can represent that part through a voice, you just talk with them, and you also get a sense in your body. There is a physical sensation in your body where you're like, this is where this part lives. And I identified mine around my heart chakra, that's where that part lives. And then you can also comfort it, you can love it. Important is to affirm it, to appreciate it, to acknowledge that it's there and that it has value for you. Okay? Excellent. So, having that open conversation with your part, express your gratitude for their open communication. Thank them for their messages for you. Be grateful for anything your part offers to you. Not all messages are positive. Perhaps you need to apologize or release your part from unrealistic expectations. Yeah, I do that. Sorry, part. Or request their forgiveness for ignoring them, like I already mentioned. Yeah, that was that one thing, you know, that I became aware of. Where I'm like, yeah, I have surely not acknowledged that part for a very, very long time. And I have not treated it very well. That's a thing of the past. If that happens, you can ask them for more information. Have them elaborate. Thank them for letting you know their feelings, especially if they are mad at you and feel neglected. The last time I talked to my support part, the most important message they shared with me was that I needed to keep affirming to myself that I was never really alone on my quest. That's been a big one over these last few years. That level of loneliness and aloneness that I felt for a long time, especially when I was in my childhood and my teenage years. And I was really in that poor me state and feeling very alone. So yeah, that definitely resonates. I needed to remember that deep down I trust that I'm on the right path and that I'm divinely guided. As a consequence, I put an accountability system in place to help me stick to my meditation practices that connect me with my guides. I also let go of watching online videos later in the evening to help my brain transition into sleep mode. And you know what? Since I've written that, I've actually gotten a lot better with that. Instead of watching things that upset me or that rile up my brain, I've really gotten used to listen a lot more to meditation music, first of all, and then my grandkids love the fairy garden meditation music, so a lot of times there's one of those on. Or I have a very mellow affirmation or some kind of a teaching video, and I make sure that it's a mellow, low voice. It's not someone really hyper and uppity up, high energy, because that is not helping my brain. So I'm actually really happy to report that that's one of the positive things I got out of applying it myself and treating myself more kindly and with a more of a calm and serene attitude versus the hyped up energy and the go-getter kind of attitude. So that's another level that I'm now realizing in looking back over the last half year especially, that instead of the really uppity cheerleader type style, I've gotten into much more of a very calm, relaxed, slower way of even communicating with myself, and taking it just much more easy and much more slowly. So that's nice. That's actually a nice little result that I hadn't seen before. So that is what I would like to offer to you today, to really cultivate with yourself, to notice what style works for me. What do I do with myself when I talk to myself, when I motivate myself, when I thank myself, when I express gratitude, when I affirm, when I'm not really digging it? And that's actually what this next part is about. And I'm just going to read that to you, okay? What do I do with my parts that I don't like? Happens too. There are some patterns that we have that we don't like about ourselves. There are certain thought processes that we have where we're like, why am I still doing this? Why do I keep catching myself doing XYZ even though I've told myself 1,000 times I wouldn't do it anymore? Well, here is something about that. What kinds of parts could those be? These are the parts that are indulgent, hedonistic, and sabotage your efforts to stick to certain plans. Your parts that obviously do not support your diet, your exercise program, or good sleep patterns. Your parts that are addicted to certain substances and emotional patterns. Your selfish, spiteful, gossipy, jealous, or critical parts. Well, there's a list, isn't there? Those aspects you do not necessarily love about yourself. So here's the solution. Visualize your resistant parts as little children that are being neglected. They're sitting in a corner, having been told to be quiet. When you can look at your parts from that perspective, you can acknowledge, love, and affirm them. You can finally truly see them. You can comfort the little child. You can give them value and purpose. You can ask them, what is your message? What do you want from me? What do you need from me? How can we heal our relationship? Be patient as you wait for answers and messages. Accept the information you receive in pictures, words, and physical sensations. Imagine having that kind of dialogue with all of your parts, especially the ones you have not been happy with. Engage with them in a new way. Make it your habit to have an open dialogue with yourself. That is such a big one. And having this idea of having them represented as children that have been neglected is a huge, huge piece in this. It immediately ramps up your compassion, your understanding. You understand that there was a miscommunication, that there has been a neglect, there has been something that's been missing, and by using that metaphor of the child, you just completely change the energy in your communication with that part, okay? So I like seeing the thumbs up on this one. Thank you for acknowledging that. And I have to tell you, the second I put my parts onto the children's level, and that's what they are, because emotionally, actually, those parts in myself are stuck in childhood. They are stuck in that little me that didn't learn the lesson, that didn't get exposed to the right information they needed at that time. They didn't get affirmed in the way that it made sense to them. Whatever it was, emotionally, I'm still the 5-year-old, I'm still the 10-year-old, the 13-year-old. And that's actually one of the things I've been doing for these last 2 years, in constantly revisiting my teenage self, where a lot of my personal self-sabotaging patterns started, and keep reiterating, keep listening. And actually I'm inviting her right now. I'm listening to a very beautiful affirmation series, and I'm actually sitting there in my mind with my 13-year-old, hugging her and letting her hear it, and it's affirming her. And then I'm looking at her and saying, yeah, I know, isn't that cool that you now get to hear this? And even so, I'm 45 years older than her, I am also enjoying it. And I'm enjoying the fact that my inner child is now getting those same messages. It's absolutely profound and wonderful. So you might want to give that to yourself as well, that you are treating your internal parts that you have conflict with in this more loving way, in imagining that being your inner child, those being smaller parts, younger parts that simply haven't gotten the message. They don't have the education, they don't have the resources, and that makes it so much easier to have compassion for them, okay? So one more part, okay? Communication is key. Most of the time, our parts are grateful for our acknowledgement. They appreciate our willingness to communicate more openly with them. In my own healing work, I find that my parts are understanding when I forget to check in with them for a while. I apologize and make amends. They let me know what they think and what I can do better. Yes, they do. Over time, it has become a cooperative relationship. We understand that we all benefit from open communication. As we practice our engagement with our internal support, we are guiding our efforts purposefully to strengthen our friendship. Generate the feeling of belongingness and connection with your part. Give them value. Let them know that you honor their purpose for you. To practice a more meaningful engagement with your support part, you can use the following questions to help you jumpstart the conversation. You can deepen the conversation by asking the part certain questions. What do you want? What would you like for me? What is your purpose? What is your higher calling? What do you need from me to fulfill your purpose? What are your values? What is important to you? How can I help you? What have I been missing? What do you want me to know? How can we increase our communication? So just imagine asking your part all of these questions. And a couple of those definitely stood out. What have I been missing? Definitely stood out. What do you want me to know? I ask my parts that a lot. What is the message that you have for me right now? What do you want me to know? That is such an open-minded and open-ended question. It shows such willingness to listen to whatever they have to say. What am I missing? What do you want me to know right now? What information do you have for me right now? Yes. I sincerely hope that you got answers that are meaningful to you. The part's ultimate purpose is to serve you through supporting you, because it's your support part. Just like your fun part, its ultimate purpose is to help you have fun, okay? So the support part, naturally's inclination is to help you be supported, right on? I hold the intent that you can feel that. You always have that little voice in your head. Imagine that voice supporting you and encouraging you with statements like, I have your back. I'm here to help you. Don't worry, we got this. It's going to work out. I'm here for you. We are in this together. You are not alone. I believe in you. That's beautiful. Imagine hearing those affirmations in your mind as you face certain challenges. Please give this to yourself as a gift. Allow yourself to feel that kind of internal support. It's reliable and dependable. You can trust yourself to be 100% there for you. Open yourself up to assistance from within. Affirm to yourself that you are always supported, that you are grateful to be with yourself, and that you can always count on yourself. And then to reiterate and to make it even more practical for yourself, there's a couple of questions that you can now answer. Where does my internal support part live in my body? Again, you just scan your body. You notice where you feel energy, where there might be a little bit of a tingling or a little bit of warmth. Or the voice says, well, it lives in my heart. Or you get a picture of it. And like I shared with you, I'm feeling my support part right there over my heart. How do I visually represent my support part? Like I said, I'm seeing myself about 3 feet in front of me. She's standing upright. We're about the same age. And she's wearing a cape, a nice long cape, looking a little bit fairyish. And she has a smile on her face, and she's very loving, a little translucent too. So get a visual representation of yourself and your support part. And what are the most important messages your support part is sharing with you? And I already shared some of those with you that I get a lot. How can I help you? What is missing? What information do you have for me? So the messages that I'm getting from my support part are a lot of times, you're on the right path. Things are always working out for you. Don't worry about it. Everything is okay. Those are messages I get very frequently from my support part. Things are always working out for you. You've done this 1,000 times. You have a track record. Those are thoughts I have a lot when I talk to myself about what's going on in my life and how to handle it. All right. Okay, we got one more little paragraph here. Your journey within does not have to end here. Your relationship with reality out there starts with how you treat yourself. Take note of all you learned about supporting yourself and figure out how this information can help you create a better relationship with yourself. You can easily map over the communication skills you learned to other parts of yourself. Imagine being able to talk clearly with your parts that are in charge of motivation, self-care, patience, or gratitude. The options are limitless. You can always find new parts and foster your relationship with them. I've been on this path for over 30 years. To this day, I'm amazed that there are still parts popping up that I get to know better. All right, so that's this section on supporting yourself. And I would like for us to now do a quick little visualization in seeing how does this now manifest in practical application in your life in the month of July. Let's just take these next 30 days. And how can you make some promises to yourself and hold yourself at a level of accountability where you're going to put a few things into practice. So, as I'm doing this as a book study, I'm committing myself to integrate that into my meditation. And as I am, because I am talking to my guides when I am doing meditation, that I'm going to also include a very special segment in simply being with myself and acknowledging my parts and giving gratitude and affirming them. As well, the other thing that I'm promising to myself is to become more aware about my internal self-dialogue and to catch it more often. Just like I had shared with you how my coach encouraged me to talk to myself more like a little child, like a little toddler who's learning to walk, and to have that very special voice tone and that, yay, oh my goodness, you're doing such a great job. You're so wonderful. Oh my goodness, you're so brilliant. And all those wonderful words that my grandkids always get to hear from me, that I'm going to practice that more with myself. So as I'm doing it with them, I'm going to remind myself to also do that with myself. So those are the two promises that I'm making right here, right now in public, and I'm holding myself accountable with that. And I would like for you to think about that as well for yourself. What are some of the ways that you can make this real, that you can make it practical and turn it into action? What are a couple of action steps that you can take to make this really tangible in your life? So think about that for a moment. And if you'd like to, you can put that into the chat. And I want to thank you very much for being here today, for exposing yourself to that information, for supporting the Resilience Journal, the Resilience book, a book about change, resilience, and the art of accepting support. So please, if you joined us later, make sure that you watch the whole recording so you also get the introduction. And then as we are continuing, I'm also going to share with you some of the story, how the book came to be. Today I just wanted to give you an experience with it. I wanted to dive right in, really give you a practical application of the book and give you the nuts and bolts of what it's all about. And I really hope that it was very enjoyable for you, that you got something out of it and you learned something cool that you can take into your life right now. Now, I am going to be in Salt Lake City on the 20th of July. I've had the incredible fortune, and I'm so grateful that the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living has decided to make the book their book of the month, and they're actually studying it together. So on the 20th of July, I'm going to be teaching during their service about resilience, and then we are going to have our afternoon workshop after a lunch engagement, and you are more than welcome to be there for that. So for all of you who are in the Salt Lake area, please mark the 20th of July. It would be fabulous to see you then. And if you can't be there in person, make sure that you send me a personal message, because I would love to send you the book directly from here with a personal dedication and my signature, and we can work out the details, your address, payment and all that. So send me a message, okay? I'd love to get it to you directly. And then for those of you who are definitely not in the Utah area, I'm also going to present the book nationally. So if you live somewhere else and you would like to host an event with me, reach out to me. We can talk about it, how that's all going to fit into the travel plans that I already have for the rest of the year, because I am going to take off here in 2.5 weeks to go back to Germany. After the gig in Salt Lake City, I'm heading out to be in Germany, and then I go back to China. So a lot of wonderful things are happening in my life. I'm very grateful for the resilience in my life, the support I've learned to give myself, the support, this incredibly beautiful support I have in our wonderful community. You guys are so fabulous, and so many of you have been by my side for many, many years, and some of you actually decades. And then also for the support from the higher self, the divine, and that is just something that is immeasurable. And the more I dive into that aspect of my reality, the happier I become, and the more grateful I become for this limitless support and the mercy and the incredible love and compassion that the universe has for us. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. So I want to share that as much as I can in these interesting days that we live in, right? So there's many ways to connect with me. Definitely show up again at one of those free seminars that I'm offering to you. Thank you, lovely universe, for giving me the idea with the book report and studying the book together. And like I said, if you'd like to purchase it directly from me, just send me a message and we're going to work out the details and I get it to you. And then I hope I see you soon, okay? And if not in person, then right here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure that you practice what you learned today. So make a commitment to yourself. I'm going to practice this. I'm going to make this practical for myself. I am committed to put this into my life and to actually do something with it, okay? That's the greatest favor you can do me and the greatest favor you can do yourself as well. With that, my friends, I send you lots and lots of love. Big hug. And I wish you a wonderful journey of resilience. Bye.